Honeycomb Alpha yoke trim mod version 3.0. First, some demonstration. By operating the modified switch on the yoke handle, the neutral point of the yoke pitch axis can be moved. One direction and the other direction. As you can see, the yoke handle neutral position is moving while I am pressing the yoke button, the trim button on the yoke handle, and going back. So this is now more or less the middle point trim neutral position. So normally I can apply the pressure on the yoke. So this is forward back pressure, and this is forward pressure. And the whole point of the mod is that when I apply the pressure, then I can move the neutral position by trimming. So as you can see, now the handle remains without any force. And so now I am trimmed forward for some higher speed flying. Now let's consider I would like to slow down. So I pull on the yoke. If I release the pressure, yoke will go back. This is not what I want. I want different pitch angle. I want slower speed. So I pull on the yoke, and then I can trim the force. So I'm keeping the handle, the trim is moving, and now I can leave it. Maybe again, pulling on the yoke. When I release, the force brings it back. I'm pulling on the yoke, but by applying trim, I can remove the force. So I leave it and it stays. And finally, going for a faster speed. And now this is in a neutral position. Then some closer look. So as you can see, the rubber bands are modified. So instead of the black rubber cables, I have these reddish rubber bands. So this is for the aileron. I changed it to have a little bit more space inside the yoke casing. This is the main thing. This is the linear actuator, which can move the neutral position back and forth. And so the original rubber band is disconnected, and instead of the original I have this red one. All this is controlled by the controller, which is installed here, and there is a potentiometer which allows faster and slower speed of the trim movement. This also affects the maximum force which is exerted by the trim movement. Of course, there must be a power for this, so there is a power connector, and I am providing 12 volts, which is a bit too much for this actuator, because it should be maximum 9 volts, but when I operate 9 volts, the force are not strong enough. Another component is the original trim button. It works as usual, but it was modified, so there is a switch added here, and by switching this switch I can return to the normal honeycomb behavior. So my trim mode is now disconnected, or I change the position, and now the honeycomb is isolated and I can operate the trim. There is a new cable, this one, which goes inside, which is providing the signal from the trim button to the yoke controller. You can also see there is 2 end switches which are preventing the mechanism going too far, and fortunately this entire mechanism is fitting into the case, but the case was modified a bit. So as you can see, there is a bit of the case is removed, all these reinforcements, to allow this mechanism to fit in. And there is a very tight spacing, so this is why I'm using this tiny mechanism, which is a little bit too weak, so I will also consider another one, which is a little bit bigger, but I need to think how to fit it in. Another disadvantage of this other actuator is the smaller stroke. This one has 9 centimeters and the other one, the bigger one, has 5.5 centimeters. So compared to the stroke of the Honeycomb, which is about 8.5 centimeters, 5.5 would be not enough. So this is why I'm overvolting. Instead of running at 9 volts, I'm running in 12 volts, and this might end badly by overheating the stepper motor. But I will be not operating the trim so often, so I hope it will not result. And just in case, I bought 2 from AliExpress and it takes 2 weeks to have them, so just in case this is too much voltage, which may result in destroying the actuator, I have the other one without the need for waiting. So the only permanent change to the Honeycomb casing is a hole here, another hole here for the cable, 2 holes to connect the rubber bands, this removal of the reinforcements, and there must be also a hole in the casing to allow this speed potentiometer to go outside if you would like to have the speed changeable. You can also install it permanently inside, but then you cannot control the speed, and speed is also related to the force. So if it moves too fast, the force it exerts is smaller, so it might be not enough to handle the tension from the rubber bands. So this is all for the prototype version 3.0.